Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and incidents in pop culture to see how those incidents may or may not affect our daily lives. So, this real quick is a pop culture chat. If you're not familiar, over the past weekend, over the weekend, probably I believe more on Thursday, DJ Academics and another young man was in the Twitch room playing a video game with a young 15-year-old uh, popular streamer. While they were in this room, and I'm going to hesitate about calling names, just simply because even though this young man is a popular streamer, he's still a minor, and I'm going to refrain from calling his name. I'm not going to share the video. I'm not going to do anything. All of this is going to be my commentary. Okay. So while they're in the room with this young man playing video games, which in and of itself is not an issue or a problem because, Twitch is designed for you to be able to play and to record and showcase you playing video games to whatever video game that you're playing on screen. And then you all have commentary in regards to it. So in this whole situation, they're in there now. The only person's face that is shown in this video is the 15-year-old young man. Uh, all of a sudden, another man comes up. Now, this man is rumored to be Trey Tory Lanez's manager, and then there's DJ Academics in there. So the other man who has been rumored to be Tory Lanez's manager asked this young man for his address so that he can send the ladies of the night over there. Right? The young man says, "No, you're trying to catch me a case. Well, actually, you're trying to catch them a case because I'm only 15." Now, you think at that point, because it was so inappropriate, you really do think that the conversation would end because the young man clearly has said no. And he explained to you why no. So, what does this man do? He continues. He's like, they start asking this teenager all of these personal questions about whether or not he has been intimate with someone else. Would he want to be intimate with someone else? So then when they see uh DJ Academics gets into it, he starts asking him questions. And I don't, by that point, I was extremely grossed out. So then I don't even remember hearing how it got to the point that they're talking about this young man's famous streamer. And they start talking about all these inappropriate sexual things that they asking him questions, would he do with this person? And it's the adults, the DJ Academics, and the other man who is rumored to be Tory Lanez's manager, and they keep going and going and going, and they don't. I didn't watch the rest of it, but the little bit that I watched, I thought how inappropriate this was. Why are you asking this young man these types of questions? Y'all are in there supposedly to play the game. Now, I heard a snippet of DJ Academics crashing out, and then he's trying to explain what's going on. And he makes this excuse like, oh, we just act like somebody. Absolutely not. That is not even if that person was related to you, those are not questions that you ask. A grown man needs to be asking a child. Period, point blank. Now, when I do my pop culture chats, I always say, We got to figure out how this incident may or may not affect our daily lives. This is how it affects our daily lives. So often, this is how young people are groomed, because grown people, men and women, and I have said it a long time, I'll be so glad when we take as seriously this grooming that we do between men and children that we do with women with children. Because if you've been on social media, I think the biggest one of that was that Mary Kay Letourneau back in the day, and everybody thought that that was, oh, it was so odd. But if you have worked in any type of social service business, you know that that's not odd. But what's so tragic about it is that young boys are programmed to believe that's a rite of passage when it is what it is. It's grooming and sexual abuse. I hope and pray that this doesn't get swept up under the rug. I hope those parents are actively calling whoever they need to call to investigate, because that was a clear cut of harassment. And then it's so sad to see that a child has to tell two grown men, y'all are being inappropriate, stop. And they don't know how to stop. And I don't know, because when I looked, I saw 4 boxes. So there was 3 other boxes. I don't know if the other person in that room was a child. I don't know exactly what was going on, but surely if that was another adult, I really would have hoped, because again, I didn't see the whole stream, but I really would have hoped that person would have gotten up and said something. This type of behavior, that kind of banter and conversation with a minor is inappropriate. And depending on where you live at, it's criminal. Absolutely criminal. I am so glad to see no one the videos that because I've seen other videos, and I really wasn't going to do a video, and I know that I'm not going to monetize this video because I really want to be able to bring awareness out. It is so very important, and thank goodness he's recording these gameplays. And maybe parents, if you've got kids that are playing on these multi-platforms, maybe you should be if there is a way. I do not know. I don't play games like that, so I don't know what the tech is behind that. But to record these people and let them know they're being recorded. And if they do not want to be recorded, then they can go and get out of that gameplay. Because that conversation was so comfortable to these two grown men. And then they felt offended because the guy was telling the 15-year-old was telling them basically to stop. And they continue. Not only do they talk about providing him with strippers, they're asking him questions. Oh, ain't no other 15. Is that a 15-year-old that you could be having sex with? Excuse you? And then they take his basically fandom of another streamer that he possibly would like to work with, they turned it into this weird uh 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 what if question. If he was to let you do fellatio on him, would you do? What are you talking about? I'm real angry about this because here it is in the flesh. This is what we talk about. If you don't understand, this is what we talk about, how people groom children. They start off with these little conversations. They start off, first of all, being in spaces where you're at. They're at, and then they want to come across like, oh, they're the friend of this 15-year-old. And then they start asking these types of questions, or they start commenting, and I'm talking about it all in general. They start commenting possibly on their looks, or they figure out what situation that these young people are, and they try to be a quote unquote savior to them, whether it be buying them food, talking, listening to them as they talk, try to make them feel like they are more mature than what they are. So then when they start talking about anything sexual, it almost feels normal when it's not. And then you have the person, the young person, the minor, either thinking that they are on an equal level with the groomer, to the point, the groomer has won, to the point where that victim starts to initiate some of the stuff. And that way they can step back. So I thought she was older. I thought he was older. Cause she no. It's a whole process before you even get to that part. And I really, really do hope that the authorities are involved, because they were on the airways talking. I am so sick of that mess. I am so sick of it. And people, if you want to do your part, and I'm talking to men and I'm talking to women, stop normalizing this. Men, stop normalizing it. It's not a normal thing. And don't wait till you have children to understand that it is inappropriate. And women, let me be very clear, because I know that our community is mostly matriarchal. And you ladies who have the power within your families, y'all stop protecting these people because they hide under your protection. We all know that we got some suspect aunties and uncles and cousins. We all know that. But see, they are always under an air of protection from the person who has power within the family. See, that's Muddy's favorite grandchild, or that's Big Mama's favorite son. That's Auntie's favorite daughter. They hide under that protection. So when they're doing all this cruel grooming stuff, they're protected under whatever level of power that they have. They sit around that power, whether it's Big Mama, whether it's Muddy, whether it's Auntie. See, they sit up under you, and you protecting that demon and letting the little angels, shout out to the young lady who did that little song about this. But you've got all these angels cutting up, and then when they are responding with the trauma, then you want to call them fast, and you want to call them hard headed, you want to call them all this other stuff, because all of the stuff that they're doing, the behaviors that they're exhibiting after that point, is trauma. Stop protecting these people. You know. And then when these people run rough shot through their families, and then they get out here in the world and get exposed, then you want to put your all white on and your big church hat and run into church crying and pleading for people to pray for your child. Men, you say that you are the protectors. Protect children. They don't have to be your children. When you see it and you hear it, call it out. Expose these people. Ostracize these people. That's my rant, y'all. I didn't spend too much time on this. Y'all, please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell a coworker, tell that heifer that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos. And as always, people, bye bye.